It's hilarious when you see clips of women crying about how they lost the good men, or where did the good guys go. It's as if these girls have no idea where they went or why they went anywhere but in front of these delusional women. The good guys liked you when you were grinding against Chad and Tyrone in your 20s. They liked you when you went past your promiscuous phase and thought about life and a career. Then they went their own way to build themselves up, make careers, businesses, and something worth living for, while you slept around the block with all the Chads and Tyrones you could find. And now that you've crossed the wall, you're looking for them. I can tell you, girls, you're not going to find those guys anymore. They don't want you. Modern women will forever be their own worst enemy. Today, more and more women are whining online about how they are all men. These women say they hate men but don't hate normal, average men. You can't hate somebody you've never even noticed. So who do they hate then? Chad Thunderstroke, that's who. Because he reminds them that they are just normal and average and will never qualify to marry him. Imagine if women picked a car like how they pick men. Only the best looking and high value, such as a Lamborghini or Ferrari, will do. She then complains it is expensive to run, impractical, difficult to drive and park. She returns the car, then immediately selects another Lamborghini or Ferrari, and she complains again. It doesn't occur to her to buy a small hatchback as it looks boring, but is everything she actually wants in a car. Isn't it interesting when a woman comes out and she says, "I hate men," and she gets the standing ovation? But if a man says, "I hate women," he gets vilified and labeled a scumbag loser misogynist. It's always interesting how easily women are led into following trends. Many of them really are weak-minded. This is why, for all of history until 5 minutes ago, no society let women sleep around or pick their own husbands. Left to their own devices, women will make the worst choices imaginable. Everything women do, they believe, is a new thing. Meanwhile, we can all look back over time and see the same clothing trends, hairstyles, makeup trends, body trends, etc., all cycling back and forth. Same script with different actors, that's all it is. They are playing the same role. In a movie, they believe themselves to be the stars and treat everyone else as side characters. Then, when they have no connections, they go back to Act 1 and start playing the same role again and again. Never-ending script. Always with the same final act, the same self-determined, tragic ending. When you step out of this, it's actually quite entertaining. That's why when a regular guy becomes a successful pillar of his community, after being ignored for most of his life, he must be careful. The attention from women will come with the shiny things one accumulates from his hard work. The difference is that women will not have the same temperament when dealing with a non-Chad, and will take their trauma out on you. Have fun, but be careful and protect yourselves at all times. Men really need to understand that by accepting low-standard women, they're only lowering the standards of their lives. They're lowering their own potential, and they're lowering what they can achieve out of life. If men started valuing themselves as much as they value attractive women, there would be a lot more high-value men in the world today, and a lot fewer simps roaming around thirsting for women and giving them free attention and validation. The fact that women feel entitled might be understandable from some aspects, but the fact that they feel too entitled, which means they feel entitled just because that's how it is the topic of discussion and debate here. And it is even more so because society has jumped on the woke feminist bandwagon that calls for equality in every aspect of life, and yet still continues to support women to feel entitled to everything a man does, earns, and produces is just perplexing, to say the least. Guys seek women who are obedient, helpful, feminine, sensual, and attractive. No boss ladies or alpha females. They will thus keep having dating problems. The fact is that the majority of them do not settle down. Women like men who are ahead of them, therefore as she goes further, there are fewer men around. Women believe that having a large income and attending a prestigious university will expand their opportunities, but occasionally the opposite is true. Of course, preferences are at issue here. Physical reproduction is possible with any functioning man, but for most women, dating less successful men seems like settling. The fact that women feel that they're settling is what hurts them the most. And if they can't grasp the fundamentals of supply and demand, they won't be able to attract the men they desire. Then it is what it is. There aren't many men at the top, and not all of them would like a woman to be there. I find it astounding that powerful women fail to comprehend this. There will be fewer persons at each level of income as one moves up the scale. Supply and demand are as simple as that. However, the number of women accessible to a man will increase the higher up the economic ladder he climbs. So why would he marry a wealthy lady only because of her wealth? Female achievement is less alluring than some women believe. What kind of guys dislike powerful women? That's not it. Male success criteria for women are lower. The second, age, submissiveness, and caring nature, are just a few qualities men possess that might work against them in the quest for success. Men rarely regard professional accomplishment above their own level, and only up to a certain extent. Men claim to admire knowledge and accomplishment, but they never let it frighten or turn them off, despite what others may think. Despite what they claim, it sometimes conflicts with what they really practice. Actually, men prefer dating women who are less rich than they are. Others like women who have less education. Studies show that men find women's intelligence to be unattractive to a certain extent, but when he thinks a woman is brighter than him, he actually loses interest in her. However, men who regarded educated women to be attractive in the long run gave them low physical attractiveness ratings, according to evolutionary psychologists. All right, men. I agree with him, since I wouldn't want to date someone who makes more money than I do, not out of fear, but more because I am certain that she will ultimately make a joke about how much money she makes, and how she won't respect my authority. Why then would I sign up for it, knowing that I will be treated like a lesser person? That arrangement would only be accepted by a man who doesn't value himself, because I'm more likely to receive better treatment than if it were the other way around, and I may feel like a provider and a man in my own castle. I would like to date a woman who makes less money. These contemporary Western women will now consider males as inferior, while physically being broke and living in a rundown apartment themselves. Furthermore, you shouldn't make this a problem, since these women will try and minimize your accomplishments despite the fact that, barring divorce, they can never hope to catch up to you. I hope that women realize the hypocrisy with which they live, expecting everything to be taken care of on one hand, and then marching the streets with banners for equality on the other. As I said, women's entitlement is unwarranted, and men really don't need to sugarcoat things for women anymore because they've clearly got the wrong idea about their role in modern society. Men need to make sure to put a woman in her place if she makes any unwarranted or untrue claim based on her overly inflated ego and entitlement. See, here's the bitter truth, and this one's going to particularly sting the feminists. Women without masculine guidance tend to have self-destructive behavior when it comes to relationships. The sad thing that most of these women just don't get is that when you have a man who loves you and really wants to bond, there is absolutely nothing in the world like it. Stability, content, safety, shared long-term goals. These are the things that make life great. Long-term, and not the tingles. All relationships take work, time, commitment, and sometimes compromise. They think there is no effort needed on their part, which is wrong. They go for the wrong men and suffer the consequences. They become bitter and wind up alone, which feeds the bitterness. In a way, I feel sorry for them in that they will find out what it is like to grow old alone. You reap what you sow. Thanks for watching The Circle of Kings. As always, we're looking forward to your support, so please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything all kings like yourself need to know.